Shabbat Shalom. Today I want to bring you a very, very important story. And I want you to pay close attention because this should hit home. Because it sure hit home for me. This is from prisonplanet.com. Father harassed by CPS for feeding kids organic food. Say something, see something. Neighbors report on man for refusing to make daughters drink tap water or take vaccines. Paul Joseph Watson, prisonplanet.com, December 13th, 2010. A father of two was harassed and investigated by Child Protective Services and police for feeding his daughters organic food, refusing to make them drink fluoridated, poisoned tap water, and not having them injected with mercury-laden vaccines, all of which constitutes suspicious activity. In the new Sovietized America, a foretaste of what's to come once Big Sis Walmart spy campaign gets up and running. Relating his story to the Sherry Questioning All blog, the man states that a child abuse investigation was launched after one of his neighbors reported him to the authorities, prompting a CPS worker to visit his home accompanied by a police officer, during which she bombarded him with questions and conducted a warrantless search of his house, even down to the contents of his refrigerator. The caseworker turned up at the man's door with a police cruiser in close attendance. The woman nervously began to question him and was obviously under the impression that he could pose a physical threat. She said that there were allegations that I wouldn't give my child tap water, writes the father, before noting how he explained to the woman that municipal tap water in most parts of the United States is poisoned with sodium fluoride, a form of toxic waste that contributes to innumerable health problems, including disorders affecting teeth, bones, the brain, and thyroid gland, as well as lowering IQ. The woman's line of questioning took an even more bizarre turn after she told him that one of the accusations against him, which led to allegations of child abuse, was that he fed his daughters organic food. That's right. Americans actually think that if you don't feed your children genetically modified, gluten-stuffed, high fructose, corn syrup crammed, aspartame-laden garbage like KFC or McDonald's, then you're probably a child abuser. Eating natural, clean, and healthy food not sprayed with sickening pesticides is now a suspicious activity. The man goes on to say, I was still quite frightened by this woman in my house. I mean, really think about it, writes the father. This woman has the authority to take the only things worth living away from me, my girls. So the allegations continue. The CPS worker then demanded to know why the man refused to have his daughters vaccinated, again implying that this was a form of child abuse. I said, that's true. I refuse to allow my children to be poked with syringes filled with squalene, thimerosal, mercury, etc. I promptly produced my state's exemption form that was the end of that allegation, he writes. The interrogation concluded with the CPS worker asking the man's daughter if he smacked them. They said, oh yeah, my daddy will whoop my backside if I say a nasty word, he writes. The woman asked, is this true? I said yes, and it is completely legal to spank your child in this state. In fact, there are school districts here in my state that allow it in public schools. The woman, who had not obtained a legal warrant to search the house, inspected the girl's room and even the father's fridge before leaving, despite the fact that the man's behavior in not making his kids drink toxic waste and eat genetically modified garbage while protecting them from mercury-filled vaccines actually proves that he is an outstanding parent who cares deeply for his children. He was subject to a 1-month investigation before the case was closed. The man was able to confirm that he was informed on by someone he knew after the caseworker asked him about his bug bag. Not bug out, but bug bag. It's a 72-hour emergency preparedness kit. Apparently, though, Homeland Security itself encourages Americans to prepare for emergencies. Actually, doing so is a sign of child abuse. Presumably, this is the kind of community spirit Big Sis is seeming to encourage as part of Homeland Security's See Something, Say Something program, where Walmart shoppers are encouraged to report suspicious activity to the authorities after watching a video message at the checkout featuring Janet Napolitano. Since the DHS program makes no reference to what constitutes suspicious activity, expect to read many more stories about Americans being investigated and harassed. Now, I was reading through this, and there were several negative remarks. Now, there's one here from Jimmy Boy that says, the story comes from a blog and does not name the name. Well, Jimmy Boy, Jimmy Boy, this story is real. You know how I know? Jimmy Boy? Because it's my story. Here's the religious exemption forms. You don't need to see. That's for my other daughter. You don't need to see the names, etc., etc. Just know this, that sometimes, you know, people, they like to have a little anonymity. You know, not just for the fact that while it was going on, the case was open, and I wasn't just scared to death that, you know, my children could be raped away from me from state-sponsored terrorists, but for the simple fact that sometimes people just don't want to talk about it. You know, I mean, I've been beat to death over this. You guys sat here in your little comment board, and you go, wow, no, it's not real. Oh, it can't be real. How can they do this? You know what? They make allegations, and they'll show up at your door for doing the right thing. Literally, this is what happened. You guys come on there and scold Alex Jones because he reports a story that it's not even that hard to believe. There's your proof, first off. Second off, what's so hard to believe about it? You're getting frisked up by pervert TSA scanners and Nazi-style setups inside of airports. You got tons of things going on around you. Your liberties are being stripped away. You can't grow your own food after that bill's passed. And you guys have been following me for a long time. You know how I feel about it. You got the majority of Americans on psychotropic SSRI drugs, all doped out of their mind. Yet they'll arrest you for a joint. Whatever. I hope this lends credibility to that story, because it's my story. And I think Mr. Jones is 100% correct in his saying that expect to see more of these stories. You remember what I told you, people. A closed mouth does not get fed. You open your mouth now and make your videos. You got a story to share, you share it now. We are coming to the end of an information age where Internet 2 will be imposed. They've already got a conspiracy czar. I mean, come on, man. You guys got to wake up, stand up, speak out, or die in your sleep. It's that simple. You guys be safe. Shabbat Shalom, and God bless you all.